the last couple decades, Japan has had negative interest rates at sometimes. They would actually pay you to borrow money from the bank, which is wild.
Do you think that's going to impact the fintech companies that are developing the picks and shovels of these new and emerging asset classes or technologies? What are your thoughts?
It depends on how closely tied to Tether they are.
Like this company, Ripple Labs.
Well, so Ripple has their own stablecoin, right? They have RLUSD. They're completely independent. They're audited. They're doing things the right way. We got Jack McDonald at the helm of that. You're seeing him continually get that listed in multiple places. I think the Ripple is actually going to excel and benefit from the reverse carry trade being unwound. And obviously they have some specific investors in SBI and a few others that I think may help them along the way. And they'll actually probably come out smelling like a rose.
Yeah. You have your XRP pin here right above the heart. What does XRP represent to you, Jake, before I let you go?
I think that there's going to come a point where this is no longer available to the public. If it really does end up being the back end of the financial system and what everybody uses at scale to move value globally, it's going to be a rare commodity. And there is a finite supply and there's less of it every single day.
Hey, what's going on, family and friends? We're back at XRP Las Vegas 2025, the largest XRP conference in the world. I had the chance to produce a live interview with one of the biggest figures in the room, and I mean that in every sense. Meet Jake Claver. Jake is at the helm of Digital Ascension Group, Syndicately, Digital Wealth Partners, and the Beyond Broke Mastermind. A leader driving innovation across wealth management, digital assets, and disruptive finance. In our conversation, filmed right there on the MGM conference floor, we covered it all, from his exclusive appearance on Brad Lee's Dropping Bombs podcast, to his domino theory on global markets, to why the reverse carry trade could shake asset classes worldwide. Jake broke down how Digital Wealth Partners is delivering institutional-grade crypto custody with Anchorage Digital, why he believes Ripple could actually thrive during global market turbulence, and his personal take on why owning XRP now could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This wasn't just theory, this was raw insight, shared in real time, surrounded by the energy of thousands of members from the XRP Army. So here it is, our live recorded interview from XRP Las Vegas 2025 with the man himself, Jake Claver. Thanks for tuning in. Love you mucho. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's day one at the XRP Las Vegas conference, the largest XRP conference in the world. And we've got the largest man in the room right next to me, Jake Claver, the man at the helm of every disruptive company you could think of. Syndicately, Digital Wealth Partners, Beyond Broke Mastermind, D for all the above. You're a man that's just setting the bar very high. How you doing today?
I'm super blessed and grateful to be here, man. Thank you for taking the time to interview me.
Oh, how could I not? Thank you for the time to stop by my beautiful booth here. Yeah. Well, you just came from another exclusive interview where I saw a quick sizzle reel. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we got on Brad Lee's podcast, which is Dropping Bombs. So Brad gets into it a lot with entrepreneurs, people that are in sales, high-level executives, and he drops bombs, right? Like, he brings a lot of value to his community. And so when I had the opportunity to be on there, I thought this would be great, something probably outside of the scope of what I would normally get to be on, get to talk to other people that are wealthy or up and coming and maybe not know as much about digital assets or XRP or any of the stuff that I do, or the wealth management or the other stuff we provide. And so it was really good conversation. Excited for people to listen to it.
I don't know if it was he the one who was dropping bombs, but he was probably serving you soft toss and you were knocking him out of the park. Jake, you've been, being the fact that you're going in and out of all these interviews, what are some of the things that you don't think are being discussed enough?
Well, I mean, my theory, right, that we've talked about a few different times with the domino theory and some of the implications that's going to have for markets across the board, but specifically for certain digital assets. I think a lot of people are just going to be blindsided. And it's not their fault. I think there's a lot of people that see different segments of that. I haven't met anybody else that's actually put it together in a comprehensive way that shows how it's going to affect certain asset classes and the long-term implications of the reverse carry trade unwinding to bring in this new digital revolution and the transformation of the financial system.
For those in the audience who may not be familiar with the unwinding of the carry trade, can you discuss that?
Absolutely. So the last couple decades, Japan has had negative interest rates at sometimes. They would actually pay you to borrow money from the bank, which is wild.
I'm moving.
Yeah. Warren Buffett was one of the people that did that. He actually went over there and borrowed about $5 billion at 0.25% from the Bank of Japan. And he invested that in a Japanese corporation that was paying an 8% dividend. And then that doubled in value over the time that he held that company and paid the dividend. So there's just been a lot of opportunities for cheap capital there from the Bank of Japan, but now that they're raising interest rates, everybody's got to refinance that debt. And they're having to do it at higher interest rates than where they borrowed it and the original spread was. So a lot of people just took it, borrowed it at less than 1%, and stuck it in U.S. Treasuries. Well, that's great when there's a 4% spread there. But now when you got to liquidate that position, the broker takes a fee, and then you got to convert those dollars back to yen, and that broker takes a fee. And so there's less and less margins for those people now that the Bank of Japan has raised interest rates. Yeah. And so if we see them raise one more time, all of those people are going to start liquidating those positions in mass to repay those loans very quickly. And we saw that start to unwind last year in August. We had 13% down in the S&P in one day. It was like August 4th or 5th last year. And that was just $2 trillion. There's tens of trillions of dollars that have been borrowed from the Bank of Japan and put to work in markets. So you're going to see gold tumble. You're going to see equities tumble. You're going to see crypto tumble. You're going to see treasuries and bonds at scale get sold off in a way that's never happened in the past when the Bank of Japan raises interest rates. And I think the slow bleed in the market now is not about tariffs. I think it's people understanding that this is coming and slowly liquidating positions at the high while they can still get out without causing a liquidity crisis.
Now, you said that there could be the digital asset ecosystem could tumble. Do you think, or the equities, do you think that's going to impact the fintech companies that are developing the picks and shovels of these new and emerging asset classes or technologies? What are your thoughts?
It depends on how closely tied to Tether they are.
Like this company, Ripple Labs.
Well, so Ripple has their own stablecoin, right? They have RLUSD. They're completely independent. They're audited. They're doing things the right way. We got Jack McDonald at the helm of that. You're seeing him continually get that listed in multiple places. I think the Ripple is actually going to excel and benefit from the reverse carry trade being unwound. And obviously they have some specific investors in SBI and a few others that I think may help them along the way. And they'll actually probably come out smelling like a rose.
Yeah. Or a lotus flower of the sort.
Cherry blossom.
That's the cherry blossom. Thank you. That's the smartest man in the room too. Jake, what are your thoughts on XRP Las Vegas number 3? What's the sentiment like in the room?
This is crazy. Brad told me yesterday we're gonna have 12,000 people come through here. So to see that expand from 2,500 just a year ago is incredible sentiment to their work and what they've been able to put together. And then you've also seen an expansion of the people in this asset, right? After we have a little run up in price action from 50 cents to $2 or $3, it grabs some attention. I think it's the best performer over the last 8 months. And I think we're going to continue to have that type of performance. Yeah. So I think it's a sign of the times that things are shifting. We're actually moving to, a utility-based market dynamic here in digital assets. Yeah. And I think we're right on the precipice of that here at this event. And this is just a cornerstone to that.
Yeah. A cornerstone of this event is also your booth over your people, your team. You've got quite the amount of representation at Digital Wealth Partners. What is that?
I'm the managing director for Digital Ascension Group. We're a multifamily office that specializes in digital assets. So full scope of services there, CPAs, accountants, the wealth management component is Digital Wealth Partners, tax attorneys, we do tax mitigation strategies, a lot of stuff. If you make a lot of money in crypto, we make sure you keep it, grow it, and don't pay taxes is our job. And so the Digital Wealth Partners, we do institutional custody. Anchorage is our partner for that. BlackRock's holding their ETF there, so if that tells you anything about the security of that company, they're the only federally chartered bank here in the U.S. for digital assets. They're under the OCC, so they move a little slower on some things, but they are the most secure place you can hold your assets.
Give up speed for security, right?
Well, but you don't have to give up control. And that's what most people are concerned about, right? Like not your keys, not your crypto. We do FBO accounts. So these accounts are in your name for the benefit of, they're under our account, we're a countersigner on there. And I look at it like a three-legged stool. You have Anchorage, which provides the institutional custody and the software. They don't move the assets, but they are the back end. You have us, which is, the RIA, the advisor. We still do whatever you say. We just give you options and services and try to advise you on the best way to manage your assets. And then you have yourself, right? So God forbid Anchorage goes bankrupt. No problem, because it's bankruptcy remote. Anchorage Digital is separate of their exchange. So these assets are held away. You're never a creditor of the bank. They are segregated, siloed, insured separately. So you're never going to lose your assets. Another trust bank would step in and manage the software at that point. Something happens to us, you're able to move it over to another RIA. No problem. Yeah. God forbid something happens to you, your spouse, your children, your beneficiaries. They're who inherit the assets, and they don't have to know anything about digital assets in order to access them. So providing a Schwab and Fidelity feel for your digital assets.
Yeah, well said. Now, you have your XRP pin here right above the heart. What does XRP represent to you, Jake, before I let you go?
I think that there's going to come a point where this is no longer available to the public. If it really does end up being the back end of the financial system and what everybody uses at scale to move value globally, it's going to be a rare commodity. And there is a finite supply, and there's less of it every single day. You know, I said at the first XRP Vegas on stage, if you own XRP, you're already rich. Yeah. And I still believe that today. Amazing.
Well, it's great to be standing next to not only the richest man in the room, but the smartest and the most kindest. You're a great man, Jake. So
thank you,
honestly, you're coming from the heart. You're a great man.
Wouldn't be here without you. So thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.